I call to order the regular meeting of the Lakewood City Council of August 26, 2013. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Murphy.
Here.
Ellen. Here. Wickman. Here. Quinn.
Here.
Ing. Wilson. Here. Barraway.
Here.
Johnson.
Here.
Hall.
Here.
Coop.
Here.
Roybal.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. As always, I'd like to welcome everyone and thank you for choosing to take part in your local government by coming out tonight to watch us live or watching us at home or on the internet. I would ask that anybody here in the audience please silence any noisemakers, phones, pagers, that sort of thing. And with that, let's rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for a moment of silent prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. Well, we have tonight a couple of, on one hand, a fairly routine agenda. On the other hand, we've got a couple of fun and interesting presentations, I think. We've got, in a moment, we're going to talk about the awards for the Colfax Marathon, and a little bit later, we're going to hear from the Executive Director of the Colfax Business Improvement District about some of the things that are going on in West Colfax. So with that, Margie, read item 4 into the record, please.
Item 4, presentation, Colfax Marathon Awards.
All right, we're going to have some fun now. We've got Andrea Dowdy with us, the Executive Director of the Colfax Marathon, and somebody that I work with very closely, not just in May when the marathon is on, but really all year round. And Andrea's just done a great job these last few years, along with her entire team, of just elevating this into really an event of national significance. So, Andrea, please come forward, and the floor is all yours. And I think you're going to have with you Nanette Doyle from Kaiser Permanente. Welcome.
All right. Thank you. Good evening. You may remember my colleague, Jandel Allen Davis, presenting at the City Council meeting before. Jandel couldn't make it tonight, so I'm here in her stead. My name's Nanette Doyle, and I'm the Medical Office Administrator at the Kaiser Permanente Lakewood facility, just across the street. One of the things that I want to say on behalf of Kaiser is we're pleased to be here this evening because the health of the Lakewood employees and the health of overall Lakewood community is important to Kaiser Permanente. On another note, I just want to say that I'm a 2013 graduate of Leadership Jefferson County, and I was so impressed by that program and very pleased to be part of it, and want to thank those in the room who took part in that as well. The rest of this I'm pretty much going to read just because there are numbers and there are a lot of people to thank, and I don't want to forget anybody in terms of thanking organizations. So this is the 4th year in a row that the City of Lakewood has had a top team in the Government Cup Relay division of the Colfax Marathon. It's a great accomplishment given the record number of participants. This year, the Colfax Marathon saw over 14,000 people register in one of the race events. Nearly 100 teams also participated in the Government Cup. For Kaiser Permanente, events like this are a great investment in the city. The Colfax Marathon gets Coloradans healthy, and it builds economic vitality for the businesses and neighborhoods along the course. In addition to the Colfax Marathon, Kaiser Permanente invests in Lakewood in many ways, including we are proud to serve the 600 members covered by Kaiser Permanente through the City of Lakewood, and also the 12,000 members covered through the Jefferson County School District, R1. In 2012, we provided free care to about 2,500 low-income Lakewood residents. And in 2012, the Kaiser Permanente Medical Office had about 3,000 Medicaid or children under the Health Plan Plus program. We also support the other caregivers in the Lakewood area, including the Metro Community Provider Network. And we look to be a strong partner on the municipal, state, and government level to implement health care reform and to get coverage to uninsured Coloradans. We also sponsor community events like Lakewood on Parade, and we support other key nonprofit and community organizations like the Jefferson Foundation, the Jefferson County Economic Development Council, and the Jeffco Action Center. And we are here today for the Government Cup, through which we partner with Colfax Marathon to provide funding to community organizations chosen by the winning relay teams. Before I hand this over to the marathon and to Andrea, I want to recognize the runners and the nonprofits. I just wanted to say thank you and congratulations to a few stakeholders. Thank you to Mayor Murphy and the City of Lakewood for your support for the Colfax Marathon. Thank you to the organizers of the Colfax Marathon, Andrea Dowdy and her board and staff. You've taken the event to great heights, and we all appreciate your efforts, even more after the Boston Marathon incident this year. Thanks to our first responders, Lakewood Police and West Metro Fire, who not only helped make the event safe, but also ran in the event. Kaiser Permanente is proud to partner with you and your employees to improve their health, and we're more honored to accept the services that you provide. Thanks to all the City of Lakewood employees that ran in the Government Cup or one of the individual events, we are proud that you are thriving with your health. I understand Councilwoman Barroway and Councilman Coop have run in the past. And Councilman Paul. All right. Sorry I missed those. We hope to get some Lakewood City Council partnership again in the 2014 Government Cup. Thanks again for your time, and I'll turn it over to the Marathon for the awards.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ned, and we really appreciate Kaiser Permanente, everything they do for the marathon and for the community and the wellness of not only the runners, but all of us. It's truly wonderful to have you as a partner. And we're happy to be here tonight. You've got another winning team, which is absolutely terrific. So we're here to really honor West Metro Fire tonight, but also to thank our partnerships with the Lakewood Police Department and West Metro Fire Department for absolutely everything they did to help us make this year successful. It was a wild year, and Lakewood and the City of Lakewood did just a great job in helping us really work on this marathon and make it a terrific time. The outstanding contribution of both the police and the fire departments really helped us support these 14,000 runners that were out there this year. That's a lot of people on Colfax and through all these neighborhoods. And one thing I wanted to mention that maybe you do or do not know, but this year we supported 122 nonprofits. So 122 nonprofits used us this year to raise money for their organization. They keep everything they raise, and that's one thing that makes me very proud. We love putting on a lovely running event, and we love really helping these runners hit their fitness goals, but to be able at the same time to let 122 nonprofits use us to raise money, that just says something terrific for not only the community, but the runners as well. There were thousands of runners running and raising money for nonprofits this year. So this was by far our biggest year. It was our biggest year of growth, and we've actually doubled since 2010, so that's quite fun. The other thing that's changed is the teams have gotten a lot faster. So when I talk about West Metro Fire tonight, they didn't just run fast, they ran very fast. So I'd like to go ahead and invite Dean Wall up to talk to me and partner here a little bit so we can talk about West Metro Fire tonight. As a matter of fact, the first three teams, I have to tell you, in the Government Cup this year beat the fastest team last year. That's how fast everybody got this year. So we're happy to have you up here with us tonight. So this year, you guys, the men's team placed second in the Government Cup with a time of 2:56:08, which is just wonderful. And I'm going to have Rachel come up and help present awards here. So what you get to do when you win is you get to pick a nonprofit to give the funds to. And I don't think this will come as a surprise, but Dean Wall and his team of runners picked the West Metro Fire Foundation. So they've got an award of $2,000 coming to the foundation. There you are. This does not work at the bank, but this one does.
Nice.
We also have something for the runners. We did bring you a suitcase to carry everything home, so hold on just a sec.
Oh, Lord.
So we want to know how proud we are of all the runners. So each runner also gets their own trophy to take home.
Okay, fabulous.
So now I'd like to talk a little bit about West Metro Fire and what they did for us this year. You know, you can be an event, you can be a race, but when the whole community gets involved, it's a whole different level. So we had the idea a couple years ago, it would be really awesome to have someone in uniform hand these runners their medals at the finish line. That happened one time. I saw some military folks hand medals, and the runners were just absolutely astounded that people that serve them every day turn around and hand them a medal of recognition. So I had talked to Dean, and he had volunteered last year to start out the tradition of West Metro Fire, having firefighters at the finish line handing out medals. And this year, we had 18 of them. So I just want to say thank you so much for the partnership, bringing the ladder trucks out to really mark the entrance to Lakewood, hang the flag, give that patriotic feel to runners. It's just a whole different, existence for these runners to know that, wow, someone in uniform handed me a medal and just felt patriotic and really part of the community. So thank you for your partnership.
All right. Thank you, Andrea.
So I have to tell you, this is one of my most fun awards to give out. You can do this, and you can talk about 18, firefighters at the finish line, but how do you get them there? This year's top volunteer award was for Dean Wall. This is across the whole entire event. Never did I expect to have 18 firefighters suddenly show up in my email inbox to say, we're going to come help you. And then when we needed help in other areas, they were willing to go ahead and go out to places like Mile High Stadium to help relay runners pass off batons, get organized out there. And then I said, how'd you get so many firefighters? He goes, I went to Parker, then I went to Littleton. I got others involved too. So the most fun part, though, is that I finally got a call from Denver Fire, and they said, well, we're going to bring some guys too. So we thank you so much for adding just that feeling and that real vibrancy, but also really bring a lot of people in with you. And so now we have several fire departments that are really coming to our marathon, and we just thank you so much. It meant so much to runners. I watched those runners cross the finish line, and when you guys gave the medals to them, it meant a lot. So thank you.
Thank you.
And now I want to see if Chief Paletta can come up to the podium.
Does Dean have any comments?
Would you like to make? Oh, yes.
Just
Sorry.
And then I'll pack up all my trophies. Mayor Murphy and Council, I'd like to thank you for having us here tonight. I just wanted to let you know that the $2,000 award from this year's Colfax Marathon Relay is going to be go into the Capital Campaign Fund for the historic Lakewood Mount Air fire station that's going to be built over at the Heritage Center. So I just wanted to pass that information on to you. Very proud to be part of that project, and thank you for your involvement in it as well. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilor Sue King thanks you as well, of course.
Great. Chief, if you want to join us up here, it'd be great. Thanks. So a little bit about Lakewood PD and what we do to really put this race on. If you can imagine, we have 39 miles now, 26 on the marathon, 13 on the half, and to be able to make 39 miles safe to runners is an unbelievable challenge that takes us sort of a year to put together, but we do a small part of it, and the police departments do a large part of it. So I just want to thank, the Lakewood PD for being a partner and one of our 3 police partners in this race. It means a tremendous amount. They even come to a couple of our evening meetings, which are quite fun if you're never doing anything on a Wednesday night, where we bring our whole committee in, and they're part of our committee. It's not just, we work with the police during the day, but they come to that event, they're part of it, and we're just really grateful for you and all your team. I have to say, Sergeant Hoover, great job this year. I really appreciate all the time and effort you put in as well. So we have a partnership award for you.
Thank you.
And now I'd like to talk about barricades. I don't know how many people know it, but we had something called the barricade problem this year. My quick 30-second overview is that Highway Technology is a nationwide company. They have offices in 33 cities. We do believe we were the hardest hit event in the whole country. I'm not sure I really want to take pride in that, though. That's a challenge that you have to overcome. So what we found is that 2 days before the event, we had we did not have barricades to be able to mark all these intersections to make them safe for runners. So what we did on that Friday is folks came together as a team to see how we could actually accomplish this so that we could make an event that runners had been working for months actually happen, and we can ensure their safety. So stepping back a little bit, we created an award this year called the Paul Ryan Champions Award. I don't know how many of you knew Paul Ryan. He is a wonderful individual on Mayor Hancock's staff and contributed so much to the state of Colorado, to Denver, and to all the surrounding areas. And he died unexpectedly this spring, and we felt the best thing for Paul is to remember him as to how much service he gave. So we wanted to give an award every year to someone who did just a tremendous amount for the community in light of the marathon. And this year, we're giving it to Lakewood Police Department. The fact that they came and they were the city that we really had the biggest challenge to place barricades and be able to make it happen safely in Lakewood. To see Sergeant Hoover and his team come to the table for hours on that Friday, to even have police officers set cones at 3 and 4 in the morning to help us out to make it happen. It was unbelievably, a wonderful experience for all of us. I've never sat at a table like that before, and I have to say that the city of Lakewood and the Lakewood PD just did a tremendous amount to make this event happen this year. And I just want to say thank you so much for your efforts. Thank you for taking the city on independently and really making it happen for us. So, thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Just real quickly, congratulations again to West Metro, and thanks again for your partnership. I know council knows this, but it was really the attitude of those that were involved that brought all this together. I know Sergeant Hoover wasn't about to say we can't pull this off, so they really adopted a can-do attitude, and it was because of that attitude that they found solutions to a problem in very short order. I mean, by the time I think we began working on it, it was a little more than 24 hours to fix it. And they pulled it off safely. So thank you again. We enjoy the partnership. Thanks.
So thank you again for everybody. Thank you for all of you on City Council for supporting us. Thank you, Mary Murphy, for your time. We really, hope to continue to grow. We love being a tradition, and we love bringing all these runners to Colfax and to the city of Lakewood. So thank you.
Thank you, Andrea. That really was a remarkable time. I know that Friday night when a nationwide company went out of business and there was all of a sudden no barricades. So and I think, there are a lot of people in our organization in a number of departments here in the city of Lakewood, Public Works and others, that work very closely with the police department to make this happen. So on behalf of City Council, I thank all of you. And finally, to receive the first Paul Ryan Award obviously means a lot, Andrea. A lot of us up here were very close to Paul, so it means a lot. So thank you for that. All right, next is public comment. Before we start that, I see we have a Boy Scout in the audience. Are you here for the citizenship badge? Would you mind standing up and telling us your name and troop number and what school you go to? Okay, Kevin Fitzgerald, Troop 808, and Green Mountain High School. Well, thank you for being here. All right, this is the point in the meeting where the public is invited to address City Council on items that do not appear on the agenda. I think I'm going to shorten these instructions tonight because I don't think we only have one person. So with that, I'm going to call up our division chief, Dan McCaskey, and far be it from me to hold you to a 3-minute limit, sir.
Thank you, Mayor.
Just because he has, right, a badge and,
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. I'm here tonight to invite you to our 15th annual Cops That Cook breakfast. This is going to be held September 20th, Friday, September 20th at the Clements Community Center, 1580 Yarrow Street. And this is a partnership, this breakfast, between the police department and community resources. And so we want to invite all of you and all of our citizens of Lakewood to come and join us. This is a fundraiser for Colorado Life Track program. And what this program is, we have bracelets, ankle or wrist bracelets that we give people that have autism or Alzheimer's. And so if they have a tendency to wander, we can track them and find them. So it's a life-saving program. In the city of Lakewood, we have 36 clients already signed up, and we're one of the bigger users of this program. And it's administered by our volunteer coordinator at the police department. So this is a great opportunity to come out and have breakfast. I brought an apron here. Chief Paletta will be wearing this apron. He does actually cook breakfast. He says he makes the best pancakes, and because he's our boss, we all agree with that. So, but we have it's a great event. We'll have our vintage police cruiser out there, and and all of our citizens. Everyone is invited to attend, and we have sausage, coffee, pancakes. And it's really for a great cause. So tickets are $4 in advance, and you can get or $6 at the door, and you can get them here at the police department. Our community resources partner also has tickets as well. So you're all invited. We'd love to see you that day. So
thanks, Chief. We'll be there.
Okay.
Something we look forward to.
Okay. Thank you.
Anyone else? Public comment? With that, I'll close public comment. I want to go briefly just back to the Colfax Marathon and mention one more person who's with us tonight, and that's Rachel Griffin from our Economic Development Office, who really had quite a busy spring. I know Rachel doesn't always like to be called out for attention, but she is really our liaison to the board of the Colfax Marathon, does a remarkable job, and also was the coordinator of all of the station area parties for the light rail opening this spring. So you had quite a busy spring and a fun one, I hope. So thank you for everything. Great job on both. Thanks. All right, we moving on to the consent agenda now, and the use of the consent agenda has been made to expedite council action and contains both resolutions and first reading ordinances, and there are 3 of those on the agenda tonight. Resolutions are items of a routine nature, and members of the public will have an opportunity in a moment to comment on any of the proposed resolutions. And this is important tonight, these next instructions. First reading ordinances appear on the agenda only for the purpose of setting future public hearing dates and ordering the newspaper publication of the proposed ordinance. So therefore, no public comment will be taken tonight on those first reading ordinances. And tonight, of course, they all have to do with the annexation, zoning, and inclusion in Ward 3 of the what's known as the Taylor parcel. But the public will have the opportunity to comment on those during the second reading on the date that will be set tonight by City Council. Any council member may request an item on the consent agenda be removed for separate discussion and action under general business. And with that, I would ask the City Clerk to read them all into the record.
The consent agenda consists of items 6 through 12 inclusive. Item 6, Resolution 2013-46, supporting a partnership with ARC Thrift Stores to produce 2 citywide cleanup days in October 2013. Item 7, Resolution 2013-47, approving the 2014 operating plan and proposed budget for the Lakewood West Colfax Business Improvement District. Item 8, Ordinance O 2013-18, annexing certain property to be known as the Taylor Annexation, located in the east one-half of Section 26, Township 4 South, Range 69 west of the 6th Principal Meridian, County of Jefferson, State of Colorado. Item 9, Ordinance O 2013-19, zoning certain property located in the east one-half of Section 26, Township 4 South, Range 69 west of the 6th Principal Meridian, County of Jefferson, State of Colorado, to the residential 1-acre lot R143 Zone District. Item 10, Ordinance O 2013-20, incorporating certain real property into municipal Ward 3 boundary for the City of Lakewood, Colorado. Item 11, accepting the minutes of the Lakewood Planning Commission meeting of August 7th, 2013. And item 12, approving the minutes of the regular City Council meeting of August 12th, 2013.
Thank you. I think before I open the public comment period on the proposed resolutions in the ordinance, I'm going to ask Bill Marino, who is the Executive Director of the West Colfax Business Improvement District, as well as 40 West Arts District, and WCCA, to come down and make a presentation to let council and community what's going on up on Colfax.
Good evening. I love this time of year. I get to come up here and tell you all that's going on out on West Colfax. And as much as I'm going to enjoy the 10 minutes or 12 minutes or so of going through some slides, I really wish we could sit around a table and I could tell you stories and show you pictures about the people and activities that are making a difference every day out there. Some small, not the people, but the activities. Some large, but everything's making a difference. So I know that many of you have been out to some of the events that we've held at 40 West. I've certainly talked to all of you at one point or the other. I look forward to sharing with you exactly what's a short version of what's going on. I think all of you got our full plan, and it's difficult to really represent all that's going on out there. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get done in 10 minutes to really get through that, but I'm going to give it my best bet. Primarily, we're going to focus on pages 4 through 7 on the plan that talks about the 10 focus areas that we have for 2014. Some of the pictures that I'd love to talk to you about and tell you stories I've embedded in this presentation. We won't have time to talk about them all, but maybe one of them will spark a conversation we can have at another time. First, I want to make sure you know that we look a lot different than we did when we started. We're really now 3 organizations in one. The Business Improvement District provides a stable funding mechanism and an operational platform for 40 West Arts District and now also for West Colfax Community Association. I'll talk more about all 3 of these organizations along the way, but one thing I want to be a clear takeaway. All 3 of these organizations share a common mission: to bring renewed energy and revitalization to West Colfax. West Colfax Community Association is taking the baton to focus on the programs that are business related, and as you know, 40 West Arts is focused on those cultural and artistic programs that are funded or supported by the Business Improvement District. We're a 4.4-mile corridor from Welsh on the west to Depew on the east, but we actually service all the way to Sheridan as well. Just in way of background, we were approved by you and by special election in 2011. So this is actually the 3rd plan that we've presented. The first 2 didn't have any funding attached to them, but we were hopeful, and we've been working at it. Something that you may not know, though, is there's more than 680 businesses along that 4.4-mile stretch. It's an ever-changing mix. While there's many, many multi-generational businesses that have been there for decades, it's a commercial hub that's evolving. And those 600 businesses are connecting the dots day after day on the changing environment of what's happening on West Colfax. I think everyone's aware of a Business Improvement District's focus. We're focused on an image and identity, economic development activities. We certainly advocate for capital improvements, and we're a dot connector too. We're connecting with those businesses, connecting with other organizations, other agencies, other associations to bring new life, new energy, new investment, new customers to the corridor. We want to be a unified voice for the business community as well as the districts that we support and control. And obviously, we also administer our own direct programs, and we support those programs with our partner organizations. Our programming falls in 4 categories: district awareness, district image and identity, advocacy, and then economic development activities. Our budget for 2014 is projected to be around the same budget as it was last year, $185,000. Not a ton of money, but we try to make every dollar count in catalyzing the change that we're all looking for along West Colfax. What I'd like to do is just spend the bulk of our time talking about the 10 different focus areas. And this is the section of pages 4 through 7 of the plan. The first 2 I've talked about a bit already by providing support, funding, leadership, and an operational platform for 40 West Arts District and for West Colfax Community Association. I think we're all aware that little 40 West Arts District, the art district that could, was designated an official creative district by the state of Colorado in 2011. And we have made great progress since then. I'm going to share some accomplishments along the way. All three of the organizations that I mentioned, the BID, 40 West, and WCCA, all have their own boards. They're now all working on their own strategic plans. 40 West is working on its third strategic plan. WCCA is working on its first. As it transitioned from the prior board to a new board and new leadership, we're really deeply integrating the activities of WCCA to be supportive of both the BID objectives as well as supportive of 40 West efforts as well. Item 3, we have a full suite of district historical programs. I'll talk in a moment about a Colorado State Historical Fund grant that we just received, but that's going to be the basis for a historic resource survey that's going to help us create some educational materials around West Colfax that we're going to share with local schools. We also want to create interpretive signage to create destinations and recognition for the cultural and historic components along West Colfax. And we're a year in discussions with the Colorado Guide Association about creating a regularly occurring tour along West Colfax hosted by professional tour guides. And in that regard, I want to say a special thanks to Lakewood's Economic Development Department, who partnered with us to help move that along. They are bringing what they call a FAM tour, a familiarization tour, out to West Colfax and Lakewood in March of next year. And it's a significant economic development activity, and I believe strongly, based on their feedback, that it will result in a regularly occurring tour that originates somewhere out in West Colfax and stops at places like Rocky Mountain College of Art and Design and other destinations along the corridor. So stay tuned for more on that. Item 4, building on the vision that was created in the West Colfax Action Plan in 2004-2005 and published in January 2006, we are establishing a West Colfax think tank. This visionary organization will be from stakeholders within the community, business leaders, community leaders, city leaders for certain, and we're going to take a look at West Colfax and how it integrates with the city for the next 20 years and build on that 2006 plan. Some of the components built within that were mentioned in the State of the City address this year, looking at how do we create a business incubator that might reside along West Colfax, or if it doesn't reside along West Colfax, how can West Colfax participate in it? We're also looking at design guidelines, item 5 there. And these won't be mandated design guidelines like you'd get in a plan development like a Belmar, but these would be recommendations on how to best articulate the brand and celebrate the history, culture, and heritage of the corridor. And with it might come item 6, a district business co-op incentive program, where we're looking at piloting a pool of funds that will help businesses with signage, frontage improvement, and other ways to represent the brand along the corridor to really focus on creating that sense of place. Talking about sense of place, item 7, there's a grassroots initiative of looking at potentially narrowing a section or sections of West Colfax from 6 lanes to 4. Now, this is an early stage discussion. There'll be a lot of community outreach, a lot of community involvement. But the gist behind it is, again, creating that sense of place, creating some on-street parking to have greater visibility and access to local businesses, bringing bike paths, pedestrian amenities, and other streetscape components to a section to really designate it with a sense of place. And that might be in and around 40 West, it might be up around Oak Street, it could be between Carr and Garrison, but that's the exploration that's taking place right now. And I want to thank Lakewood's planning department as well. They've been integral in helping us think through this process. They've been able to bring in some consulting efforts to give us some visuals to help us along in our meetings, and we're very appreciative of that. But you'll hear much, much more about this initiative as we have some public meetings and invite the public to comment about what they think. Do they like the idea? And if they do, where it might fit best. And it's probably going to take more than a year to work through that. And certainly any changes are many, many years down the road. Item 8, actually 8 through 10 are more tactical. Certainly we keep our eye on capital improvements, those that we could potentially fund, but also helping to contribute to prioritization where we'd like to see capital improvements. We're all looking forward to the Lamar Street Station and Lamar connectivity improvements with the sidewalks and pavers and the roundabout and the public art. So that's one of the items that we've accepted responsibility for maintenance of the roundabout and the public art. And there are a few other areas throughout the corridor that we are responsible for maintenance. Items 9 and 10 really have to do with our communication outreach program. I hope that you've all have visited westcolfax.org. There's a brand new portal that launched in May. It was one of the first initiatives of the new WCCA leadership. westcolfax.org is a robust web destination where more than 100 businesses have already logged in and listed their business in the directory. There's also a component that allows organizations, businesses, neighborhoods to post events in a one-stop shop for West Colfax events. We post all the city events there as well. And then there's other areas where you can explore an interactive map where we can really brag about some of the assets that we have out there. Sure, it's an evolving and changing area, but there's some great stuff out there that we want people to be able to find. So visit westcolfax.org. There's lots there. Hopefully you all are subscribers to our newsletters. 40 West and West Colfax, WCCA and the BID each have newsletters that go out monthly just to keep people plugged in. And then if you haven't liked us on Facebook yet, please do, or follow us on Twitter. That's part of our social media campaign as well. That's a rapid pass through our focus areas for 2014. I'd like to run through some quick examples, and I'm going to pick just a couple of these out. I've already talked about WCCA and the transition there, but I have to talk about the Colfax Photography Show. I know most all of you attended it. Little 40 West conceived a show, came right out of its artist community, and we developed the title Traveling Route 40, celebrating the character of Colfax. It premiered at 40 West, but it didn't stop there. It ended up traveling all along Colfax from Golden all the way to Aurora in 7 different locations, including a 2-month stay at the McNichols Building in downtown Denver. More than 12,000 people attended that show at one of the 7 venues, and it generated a lot of press and a lot of awareness about 40 West and the corridor, and I know 40 West and all the volunteers associated with that were very proud of the success of that show. The Historic Resources Grant, just this month we were awarded $50,000 from the State Historical Fund. $12,500 was a match from the Business Improvement District. What I'd like to share with you is what that Historic Resource Survey will do. We're going to catalog all the buildings in the corridor that are more than 50 years old. And you may not know it, but there's more than 500 buildings in the corridor that qualify. We're going to catalog them in terms of their architecture, their use, and their ownership. And with that information, you can actually tell the history of the corridor through land use. With that sort of information, both visual, oral history, and documentation, we'll be able to put together that educational material I mentioned, identify interpretive signage that we want to put throughout the corridor, including working with RTD to put it at the Lakewood West Colfax station to make that even more of a destination. So stay tuned for more about that. There's going to be volunteer opportunities for the community to be involved. It's going to be an 18-month process, and then we're going to leverage that information and that data to really celebrate what West Colfax is all about. I have to highlight 2 more. If you haven't heard about Project Colorfax, I need to tell you. That's what the pictures on the right of the screen are. Colorfax is celebrating Colfax, bringing vibrancy to Colfax through color. And it was an idea that exemplifies the synergy of the 3 organizations. Took a little bit of funding, a little bit of organization from the BID, a creative spark from 40 West, and then leadership in the business community of WCCA. We were able to identify our first venue at King's Rest Motel, the west-facing wall. It was planned, designed, and executed all in 2.5 months. And the mural was painted in one Saturday with 20 volunteer artists. I have a full picture that I'll show you in a moment, but it's a remarkable accomplishment. And you would not believe the people that have stopped by and said, hey, did you guys do that? Did you have anything to do with that? Man, does that make a difference on that wall. And I'm sure you've all seen it. You can't miss it. When you turn east on Wadsworth heading towards Denver, it'll catch your eye. So look forward to more. We expect to do one more Colorfax mural this year, and we're targeting an aggressive schedule of 5 next year. Last thing, Art Space was just in town. I can't tell you how excited I am about this. I almost can't contain myself. And thank you for those of you that participated in the focus group. Art Space is the nation's largest nonprofit developer of live-work space for artists. So again, Little 40 West, with some help from Dr. Cog and some facilitation from the city, are the beneficiaries of a art space study. They came to town for 2.5 days to see if we could maybe qualify for an art space development. Well, they conducted their focus groups, artists, political leadership, civic organizations, financial leaders, and had a public meeting as well. And they came away telling us that they're not sure if they've ever seen a community so ready for an art space development. Now, there's lots that we have to make happen before anything could break ground, but they've recommended that we take the next step, which is a demand study, where they come back into the community and do some drilling deep into the demand for live-work space in the artist community, not just in Lakewood, but broader, and then they identify what that need is while the whole site selection process and pre-negotiations go on and how it actually could be funded. It was an honor just to have them here. And the 35 projects that they've done across the country are remarkable. If you have a little time, just go to artspace.org and click on any of their 35 projects. The economic development impact, the catalytic impact that each of those projects have had on evolving neighborhoods and commercial districts is something that inspired me to work even harder to see if we can get Art Space to be here. So I know I left a few of those out, but I wanted to make sure I hit the highlights on a few. There are many, many more details in the plan. I'd like to wrap up with just a couple of thoughts. You know, in addition to working hard every day on things that we want to make change and how to make the right kind of change and make the community a part of it, embrace it. You know, not only where will the next mural go, and we already have three buildings that have asked us, can we be next? And if you go to westcolfax.org and click on the Colorfax link, there's an application process there if you know somebody that has a building that would like to apply. But what was once a dreary, white, dirty wall is now a beautiful piece of art along West Colfax. We dream about the next site. We also dream about the next event. So if you remember 40 West Arts Riot last year when we put on a variety show, well, the Riot is back. Riot Revisited, Riot 2. Riot 2 is coming October 4th and 5th, and this time Ian Dunlop is traveling all the way from England to appear on the Edge Theater stage right here in 40 West Arts District to do a musical retrospective. It's a convergence of all the musical styles that were happening in the 60s. He toured with a member of the Byrds in the 60s, and he's coming here to tell his stories and share his music. And we're also thrilled to have Lakewood School of Music's Sean Gill performing the opening act as well. We also dream about bigger things, much, much bigger things. And this is how I'll close. And I know we dream about these together. So just imagine a new series of independent restaurants along West Colfax, like Pete's out east. Let's call it the Colfax Kitchen. Great food with a retro 50-60 theme, a tribute to Jack Kerouac and the positive aspects of the Beat generation. It's all about experiencing life on the open road, celebrating music, poetry, and the art, and creating memories with good friends and passersby alike right here on West Colfax. Imagine a project that brings new excitement to West Colfax, a project that demonstrates the region's commitment to the corridor and brings a youth infusion, new investment, new jobs, and new customers, not just to West Colfax, but to Lakewood at large. Imagine a West Colfax business incubator, something that might be called the Lakewood Launchpad. And here's the one I dream about most of all. Imagine a redevelopment project. I actually call it a reinvention project of a tired shopping center. One that is so catalytic that it's a game changer for the corridor, creating an entirely new campus with an urban feel that's pedestrian friendly, serving existing residents, commuting students, as well as visitors from across the metro area, and potentially anchored by an art space live-work gallery. Let's call it the Colfax Creative Campus. And then finally, imagine a gleaming new transit-oriented community, a new neighborhood at Oak Street Station that includes an exciting mix of retail, office, restaurants, live, work, and high-end residential, as well as a transportation museum complex showcasing Trolley Car 25 and the history of West Colfax. This is what we're working on. This is what we dream about. I want to say thank you to the city for their support, for the collaboration, because we certainly couldn't do it without you. But that's what we're working on. And if you have questions, I'm more than happy to take them.
Bill, thank you. Everyone can tell, there's a lot of passion, energy, commitment, and excitement on Colfax right now, and that has. Bill, you and your team have everything to do with that. So I'll just quickly comment on that art space visit. That's two of the more exciting days I've spent in my 6 years as mayor, to listen to those folks, to view what they do around the country, and again, art space. Their fundamental mission is to create and preserve affordable live-work spacing space for artists, and their mantra, their motto, is really very simple. They're trying to build a better, sustainable community through the arts, and I can't imagine anything aligning more with the values of 40 West than that particular mission statement. And I know several of you had a chance to attend the art space events last week. I don't know if there's any more comments on it, or Cindy?
Sure, Mayor, thank you. And Bill, thank you very much for your presentation. Yes, ArtSpace is a very unique and wonderful organization that takes something that many of us may not think about as being an economic driver, but it certainly has been in the 35 places that they showcase, that we know about with ArtSpace and have had a chance to briefly take a look at. And I agree with Bill. Take a look at artspace.org and see what this organization has done throughout the country in very different venues. So it's not just an inner city, older neighborhood. It's everything that you can think of out there. What they have done is just spectacular, and if we would be very lucky if they decided that this was a place that they wanted to take a look at further and actually develop something here in Lakewood. It would be a huge, huge boon to the city of Lakewood.
Great. Thanks, Bill. All right, with that, I will open the public comment period on the proposed resolutions in the agenda, and there are two of them. No one's indicated a desire to speak by signing up on the roster. Anyone in chambers? With that, I'll close public comment, and I'm ready for a motion on the entire consent agenda.
Mayor Murphy, I move for approval of the council minutes for acceptance of the minutes of boards and commissions. Order all ordinances introduced on first reading to be published in the Denver Post, with public hearing set for the date included in the ordinance, and for adoption of resolutions, all of which are included in the consent agenda items introduced into the record by the city clerk.
Second.
All right, motion and second. Any discussion? If not, please cast your votes on the consent agenda. And it passes 11-0. Thank you. I had a chance to visit before the meeting with Elliot Hoyt from Design Workshop. I know we'll see you in a couple of weeks when we have the second reading on the Taylor annexation. So thanks for being here. All right, on to the ordinances on second reading. Will the clerk please introduce item 13 into the record?
Item 13, Ordinance 2013-17, authorizing a permanent utility easement to Public Service Company of Colorado for a new underground electrical vault and related facilities in Coyote Gulch Park, south of West Iliff Avenue, Lakewood, Colorado.
Okay, I'll now open the public hearing on this item. There's no staff presentation, so I'll ask if there's any public comment. No one's indicated a desire to speak, so with that, I will close the public comment portion and ask for a motion.
Mayor Murphy, I move for adoption of ordinance O 2013-17 on second and final reading based on the findings of fact. On second and final reading.
Right.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any comment from council? If not, please cast your votes. And the motion carries unanimously. On to general business. It is 2013, which is a council election year. I believe our city clerk, Margie Greer, has an update on candidates since the deadline to file for this year's election was 5 p.m. this evening, right?
It was. And I appreciate the city council candidates getting those into my office in time that we could actually get them all checked. We finished checking all of them today. A big thank you to my staff for doing that. So the names that will appear on the ballot, the November 5th, 2013 ballot for City Council, are Ward 1, Ramey Johnson, Ward 2, Scott Coop, Ward 3, Shakti and Dan Smith, Ward 4, David Wickman and Betty Boyd, Ward 5, Karen Harrison and Michael Gunstenson.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Wickman, a question?
No, a comment when we're done.
Oh, okay.
Another matter.
Okay. Hang on a sec. All right. Any questions on that? All right. All right. We're under general business, Councilor Wickman. So the floor is yours.
We just had a meeting this afternoon of what we call the Campaign Finance Reform Committee, and we're going to be discussing that here in the next couple months, and we're looking for public input. So please take a look at the website, take a look at the proposals, and give us your input. Anyway, I was thinking during the meeting while we were talking, we have new rules coming up, and good, bad, or indifferent, they're coming. But in the meantime, we still have an election under our current rules, and it occurs to me that there is one little problem with our transparency in our current rules that I would like to address. I know it's probably too early tonight, so I guess what I'm saying is I would like to put it on the agenda for our next meeting. And what that is it's the issue of our first campaign report is basically 3 weeks before the election, which is about the same time as when the ballots come out. And I've spoken about this before. We end up with a result where the reports are due only a couple days before the ballots start arriving, and so people end up voting perhaps before they've even gotten that information. So what I'd like to propose at our next meeting is that we move up that reporting date by a week and make it 30 days prior to the election rather than its current 3 weeks. So anyway, I'll be bringing that up at the next meeting. Thank you.
Well, Mr. Wickman, that deserves a number of comments. Number one, that's not how we do business. We do things like that through council officers. Number two, we have a campaign finance ordinance that's in place right now, and we can't change an ordinance by will at the next meeting. So I know you got your point across as you usually do, but it's just not possible. Councilor Paul?
Well, I just want to follow up and see if that was brought through council officers or how that was handled.
Councilor Paul, that's as council president, that's the first I've heard from Councilor Wickman about this particular topic.
So to follow up on that, say the timing isn't even allowable if we were to have a first reading
ordinance change. I don't think Councilor Wickman is
second.
aware of that, but it's an ordinance change, and we have been working now for, 6 or 7 months in a committee chaired by Council President Barraway to do an ordinance change. It's very, very complex, and we are ready to bring it forward. But that's how long those things take, so we can't just willy-nilly put through something like that.
And I guess even the timing wouldn't allow, so
No.
it seems like somewhat of a campaign trick of some sort to bring out into the public view something that couldn't even be debated in time for anything to be done in a timely manner and put into effect.
Correct. In fact, we just spoke about that at our 5 o'clock meeting on campaign finance. You needed to have a study session and 2 public readings of the ordinance before you didn't have a chance for council to vote on that. And looking at our calendar, that was even going to be difficult enough to try and get that in before an election this year that would not go into effect until after this election. I think it would not be beneficial to the current people who are running for council or for office currently, because they're abiding by the rules that are in place that were given to them by the city clerk's office, and they're going to have a meeting on it next week or this week to discuss those particular rules. To then change them after the fact really is not a fair playing game. If this is something that Councilor Wickman thought if he could have brought that up at some earlier date to council officers, which I don't believe Mayor Pro Tem has heard from either. So,
Again, it's an ordinance change that takes months, frankly, so it's just not possible. Anyone else? Margie, anything else?
Nothing. Thank you.
Tim? All right. Nanette?
Nothing.
All right. We are adjourned at 7:50.
go through council officer.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Council reports.
Council reports. Diana?
No report.
On the other hand, some people like that quick close. Cindy?
No report.
All right. Pete?
No report.
Scott? Adam? Ramey?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Karen and I will be resuming our ward meetings. It will be the 3rd Saturday in September at 40 West, yay. At 9 o'clock in the morning, we are still determining a speaker, but we will be there. Thank you.
Sue? Tom? Dave, anything else?
Yeah, I'd like to thank everybody who came out this Saturday to the Green Mountain High School Ram Run. I think there was over 400 contestants, and we raised thousands of dollars for the school. So thank you for everybody who participated.
Karen, anything? All right. And we know there's nothing else. So with that, we're now going to adjourn at 7:57 p.m. Thank you all.